Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. If you're wondering why I'm wearing my coat right now, there was a storm earlier on, so just to be on the safe side, here we are. At the same location I filmed the I'm Gonna Be There music video. Like, almost 4 years ago? Yeah, I've almost had my channel for double the amount of time that used my trailer for. That my trailer was made, whatever. Okay. So, assignments over. Am I on a break now? Yes I am. In more ways than one. Because, my word, the for university finished around the same time as actual Pixel Month did. So, yeah, I've actually managed to go for a few days without uploading for the first time in, over a month, obviously. So yeah, at least Pixel Month actually succeeded in one regard, by which I mean it actually managed to. No, I was gonna say. By which I mean it actually managed to have all of the episodes be Pixelmon episodes and not just like interspace them with the My First Pixelmon series or any of that nonsense. But yeah, who knows? I mean, I would start getting back into posting those, but let's be realistic. As soon as I do that, people will start leaving, or viewership will start dropping, because obviously that's not entirely what you're there for, so I have to time those accordingly. And everyone is rooting for me to get to 1K, so, I can't be dealing with things at the moment that might cause people to leave and that goal to be jeopardized. So yeah, for once I'm thinking about the numbers, but there you go. I mean, I spent years saying that, oh yeah, no, this is a small community or whatever, this is just if you guys enjoy these things, and if it's not your thing, then that's fine. You can always leave or come back or whatever. But yeah, obviously, sometime along those lines, the goal obviously became, which audience members can I actually please the most? What actually brings more people? What makes people the happiest? That kind of thing. Which is quite fitting, because I've just been thinking about Afmal, obviously. And because I was talking before about her new content and versus the old content and whatever, role plays versus the hybrid that she created. And yeah, after I did that stream yesterday, the 3-hour-long one, I actually got obviously recommendation from Afmo, because I watched a bunch of her videos in a row. It was the life to death of the alpha wolf or something. And I started watching that. It wasn't actually as bad as I thought. It might be just like a diamond in the rough, obviously. But who knows? That's somewhat of a creative premise, considering how much repetition happens nowadays. Now that I think about it, it's kind of ironic that my stream was all about repetition of an Afmal plot point, and yet here she is reincarnating herself as the babies of different mobs in Minecraft. That kind of thing. I should have probably mentioned that. Anyway, if anyone's watching this back, obviously not just know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Slumber Party that Afmal, the Slumber Party plot point. Because people might not realise this. If they've, for example, only watched Phoenix Drop High, they might not realise that, Operation Slumber Party was far from the only time that Afmal used the Slumber Party as a story device. And not only that, but just how many times she hits the exact same marks. Maybe not in the exact same order, but it's quite close a lot of the time. And the same characters pop up, albeit in different forms. I mean, with the exception, obviously, of Dottie, Ryland, and Daniel and Blaze in the minigames version. because of course, you know, it's what was I going to say now? Yeah, because of course they weren't around, and they were of course the most prevalent new characters at the time. I mean, to this day we all still love the dynamic between Dottie, Rylan and Daniel. And Blaze, of course, when he came in every now and then, Blaze was a little bit different to them, obviously, because he was much more of an alpha candidate, but he was by no means less goofy. I have a feeling that the only reason that he got much more screen time, apart from like all the other alpha candidates at the time, was probably because Jason Lord was most available for minigames and stuff, and he became a loved character, partly for that reason. Like, when I watched the minigames and stuff for the stream, it actually came up in the, in what was it, the playlist of the said minigames with Blaze. So that was how I managed to search for that. So yeah, Blaze is pretty important, all things considered, or at least was at the time. Obviously, you know, his fate is not a mystery at all to those who have watched the channel, but it's still a thing. He was still a thing. So, what was I saying all about this? Oh yeah, Slumber Party. Another thing I saw with the minigames later on when I kept on watching, because I wasn't going to put you guys through the actual minigame itself. No, that would have been cruel. I actually saw that they were talking about love interest there. Like, that's one of the story beats that I mentioned before that Afmal hits. So he had like the story beats of the love interests, or talking about love interests rather. Obviously, you know, girls dressing up as guys or guys dressing up as girls, whichever version it was. And yeah, which was in all the versions actually. And in fact, in some instances, that Slumber Party side stories, the ones in diaries, obviously started up stirred up a lot of interest in, you know, who was into who and how that was going to play out, or how it had played out actually, because yeah, there's a few fourth wall breaks to diaries that are kind of like that. So I don't really know. Because yeah, the minigames actually had more callbacks to the diaries version than they did the Athmal. They did not the Athmal. They did the My Street one, because Operation Slumber Party was actually quite a watered down version, it turns out, of the Slumber Party idea, because I don't know, they're working within the confines of Phoenix Drop High rather than a side story where they can do as they please and choose whichever characters and plot points to focus on, and of course creating whatever memes they wanted, like the Zane likes ponies thing. But yeah, the Phoenix Drop High one, yeah, it kind of just doesn't register to you, just like how watered down it was, until you see like a 3-parter of diaries and a 2-parter of mini games, and how the idea can actually be explored. Because to be honest, I always found Slumber Party as a story element to be quite boring. I tried writing them into the Mutant Girl, like in future episodes, and it didn't really work for me. I guess because I've never been to a proper Slumber Party before. Like, I've had sleepovers, obviously, but as far as slumber parties themselves go, where there's a bunch of people all at once, obviously the closest that I've been to is like, you know, school camps and whatever, where you're all in the same rooms regardless, but, you know, it's not exactly the same, is it? So, yeah, who knows, actually. I sat down with Aiden, I don't think he'd been to any either, so we were quite stuck in that regard. I don't remember what we did now. The Mutant Girl script for Season 2 was completed so long ago at this point that some things I just don't even I don't even remember if they made it into the final cut or not. Because yeah, believe it or not, we do actually cut some things out of the scripts. Like we don't, well, like more like we don't add every idea that we come up with, basically. Because obviously that's the way to do it in a lot of long-running shows on TV, particularly. Is they involve, you know, a lot of yes-anding, especially, but also, you know, because they have such a quick turnaround, they need to think of story elements quite quickly. So it becomes a race against time in a lot of cases to get those prepared. So yeah, honestly, I don't even know. But as far as the music goes, now that I'm on the subject, that's back in production. I know I said I was on a break, and that's true. I'm on a break from like recording, uploading new videos and stuff. Apart from this, obviously, and the 5 years later series, which are consistent uploads that I quite clearly, you know, I have to finish, and obviously like keep doing because they're on like a release by this part schedule. But yeah, the exceptions to that was going to be Puppy Love, because, you know, Pride Month is in less than a month, so if I want to actually finally, after 2 years of trying, do a Gotcha Pride Month special of something, then Puppy Love in particular needs to be finished. Like, Emma and I planned to have like all 8 episodes released across our 2 channels over the span of the 4 weeks that comprise the month of June. We're not sure exactly when that will be, but needless to say, you know, well, I mean, obviously, no, maybe month of June, I mean, like, what days of June? But we'll figure it out. At least that was the idea. Because, yeah, we keep getting distracted with other projects that we're doing, like for the Butter Bunch, for example, because I had a whole miss-up with whatever Alice and Nappa turned good, like yesterday, day before. So that really affected things, because one video was just me replying to comments in the end, and the other one was like a very short addition to the story. So I don't know. And it's raining again. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up because I don't like recording in the rain. And also, just in case the storm comes back, I don't want to be in the middle of the woods when that happens. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off for now. Needless to say, I was gonna say that Quadzi had to drop out because there was like issues that were going on in her life that I won't elaborate on. So the scenes that she was gonna do have now fallen to me and Aiden, or Aiden and I. So, you know, that's what I'm doing now, is that other scene, because Aiden's finished his already, because he's actually much faster than I am, which he likes to brag about, actually. Very interesting. Okay. No through it to the right of way. Okay. I just found a path that I haven't been down again, because there were steps there. I'm going back into the woods again. Okay, we're stopping here. Please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. Sorry it's very short, but I've got stuff to do. Clearly, I'm still keeping myself busy during the break, but obviously not worrying about too much about upload dates. As far as things go, I just want the Meet and Girl episode to be out, honestly, because it's been almost 4 months since we had a part release, and we've never gone that long without them. I do wonder as well if I should actually start filming some of the scenes before I get the voice actors' lines in, just like looking at the script and going through them that way, or if I still I should still wait for the VAs to do their stuff first, and then not only that but also the editors, because I've realised the editors were designed to like make this person more efficient, but if they have stuff going on in their lives, then it becomes an issue of well, for starters, them telling me they can't do things so I can take over again myself, and also whether or not they can do anything in the first place. Alright, But I'll decide that later on, or let me know what you think of the comments. I know no one comments on Walking Wednesday, obviously. Why would they? Okay, I'm back to more or less where I started, so that's interesting. But yeah, I'm going to get out of the forest now before anything happens. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. Subscribe if you've not done so already. When I get to 1k, have satisfied all of you that have been waiting for this for so long, including myself. And on that note, until next time, farewell.